wanted to talk a little bit this evening about as we evolve, as far as myself as growing older. I have this opportunity at this point in my life of I'll be 66 in September. And I wanted to share just how, as we evolve, how our perception and our idea of God evolves. When I was a child or a young boy, I was basically afraid of God because I was raised up around people that were very, had a mindset then of God was fearful, God was always watching you. Be careful to fall into the hands of a living God. They were casting out devils. They were speaking in tongues. They were prophesying over people. And hell was a big component that was in the middle of all of that, about tiptoe around all this because you could be cast into a lake of fire. So as a young boy, I had these ideas that I was kind of afraid of God. You know, it was kind of like having an abusive father in the house, in which I've experienced that as a boy too, not a father, but a stepfather. And things could be okay, and he could actually be kind of sweet in moments, but then when he was drinking and violent, I mean, it was like there was kind of that kind of relationship with God as a young boy. So, and then as I got into my 20s and late 20s and early 30s and the years of being in ministry, I had a different way of feeling fulfilled by God. You know, I loved going to church. I loved preaching. I loved having tent revivals. I loved being on the radio. I loved telling people about Jesus. I love to hear a Hammond organ playing and you know, several, you know, a house full of people just singing and clapping hands and praying. And there was just, you'd lead that, some services so lifted up. And that was kind of a way to make connections with God during 30s, late 20s, most of the 30s into about 40. But I wanted to, explain at this stage in my life, I have a whole different perception of God. Now, I know some of you people that may watch this that would never tell nobody you watch it and have these conversations about me, especially some of my family members. They say, oh, he's lost his way. He's not in the faith no more. He's he don't even claim to have nothing no more. He's not a Christian, you know, all that. I'm not going to dissuade any of you from that. I'm not a Christian. Not this modern day Trumpism of Christianity. I'll be the first to stand up and say it boldly and loudly. Count me out. I don't want none of your church. I don't want none of your religion. If you can walk into a booth and say Trump's a man of God and 94% of evangelicals support him strongly, please don't ever call me a Christian. That would not be who I want. But no matter what anybody else may think about me, I know who I am. I know who I am. I can't be identified by other people because I know who I am. I know what I am. As far as who I am Eddie Sellers, the son of Peggy and William Sellers. I come out of the clan of Bratchers and Sellers. So I know who I am, what I am. I know that I am a creation of God. And I'm a very powerful creation of God. I know that I am a child of God, if you wanted to use those kind of terms. Some people would say, well, you don't even believe in God. You know, people love to tag you because you don't believe you should be baptized like they get baptized. You don't believe you should go to see a scripture the way they see scripture. I was talking to somebody on the phone during the week just the other night, and they were trying to explain to me how God, I want you to just listen to how ludicrous this conversation is. They was trying to explain to me how God could create an eternal lake of fire to cast most of his creation into in the end times and judgment times, and yet be a merciful, long-suffering God. And I just like real calmly, I'm like, do you hear what you're saying? That just the analogy of that is ludicrous to me. So that's where I'm at this age. There is no hell. There is no lake of fire. There is no judgment day where billions and trillions of people are God's going to spend millennials of time sitting there, going through everybody. That's the story of Saint Nick. That's not the story of Christ. Whether you've been naughty or nice, good or bad, he's making a list. They've got the Judgment Day and St. Nick confused. Because I'm telling you, we're standing judgment right now. Tomorrow morning when you awake and you go about your life, you're standing judgment. You're in judgment of how you treat people. You're in judgment of how you treat yourself. You're in judgment of how you love and are loved and how you give out love. Judgment is now. So anyhow, as I'm getting to this place, as I'm at this place in life, since I haven't been to church in years, and I know some people equate, a gathering with church, and some people where we gather now, whether on the beach at St. Simon's or wherever we gather, some people equate that as their church. Well, church can be whatever church is for you. As for me, what have I learned about God now that I didn't fully comprehend back when I pastored for many years? Here's what I've comprehended. God is nature. God is nature. I know God is a spirit. I know God is love, the scripture says. At this place in my life, when I walk through a trail in my garden and I see a freshly bloomed hydrangea that's got the morning dew just dripping on it, I find God there. That is God to me. There's something about nature that is so godlike to me in this space that I'm living in right now. And some people are going to be turned off by this statement. I feel so much more spiritually evolved finding God in the morning dew, in the pouring rain, in the sunset, in the moonlight, in the wave of an ocean. In my garden, I walk into such depths with God. Sometimes I walk barefooted across the yard to feel the earth under my feet. I feel God, and God is nature. I know that the scripture says where two or three are gathered, that there the Lord would be in the midst of that. But if I could share one thing with you as I close this little 10-minute video out, from my life experience, from where my walk with God is right now. If you really need to figure out things that's going on in your life, in your spirit, in your heart, why you're not happy, why you don't have the joy that you feel like you deserve, I would just encourage, as an old church word, I would just exhort you to be by yourself. Find time to spend alone. Go on walks by yourself in the neighborhood. Go on a trip by yourself. Get up in the morning, go sit somewhere by yourself in nature. Nature might be a pine tree out in the back corner of your yard. Just go take a chair, drag out there, sit by a tree. God is nature. I hear this often, heard it for years. People's like, I just want to get closer to God. I want to get closer to God. Go put your feet in the creek. You'll step into God. Go wade out knee deep and let the waves push you back to shore. You will feel you're stepping into God. Put your bare feet on dirt. You stand in the hand of God. God is nature, people. God is nature. All of this earth and the heavens and the universe is the creation of God. We're a small part of that creation. God is in all, above all, through all, under all, over all. So here's what I'll end. If you want to get close to God, if you want to feel God, if you want to work out a situation in your life, maybe don't go stand in the congregation. Walk out and be by yourself. There was a reason all through Scripture that Moses went out into the desert, that Paul went out by himself, that Jesus got up early in the morning and went and prayed alone in the garden. It works. God is nature. God will meet you there. So if you want to get closer to God, instead of joining some denominational organization and get there and every time the doors are open, if you really want to get close to God, coming from me after a long life of experiences, go stand in a creek. That's as close as you'll get to God. Love y'all. Be blessed. Speak the rest of the week peacefulness over you. I send the love of God to surround you, to burn through every bit of darkness that might try to hold on to you. God bless.